Good evening, Bhante, and all Kayana Mita. Sukihotu. I'm Brother Lim, and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 52 by Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima. Tonight we are going to discuss the third class of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. This Zoom class is always open. For those who are interested, please contact us on Ti-Ratana Facebook messages. We have uploaded the previous 5 classes on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amambadana Facebook page and YouTube channel. Our speaker, Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima, is a senior advisor to Sutta. Sutta is a virtual Dharma organization that helps beginners as well as expert students in learning the Dharma in variety ways. You can check on Sutta with the link www.patisota.blogspot.com. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Sotta's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conducts on a regular basis. In 2015, Bhante Dr. Chandima earned a PhD in a Buddhist study from a university in Jayawarde, Nepura, in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2016, Bhante served as a Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Vancouver, Canada, and in 2016 was a research fellow at the Center of the Religion of Society of University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome Bhante Dr. Chandima. Welcome, Bhante, and thank you very much for tonight's talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Brother Lim. Good evening, everybody. Today, we have a couple of people. We have Lim. Ariana is away from the temple area, so and we have Sadhris, Hema, Kim, Kelvin, Yin, and Bihan. Probably some more might be joining us. So let's say Sadhu 3 times and pay homage to them before us. Sadhu, Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Again, welcome everybody. Today we are going to continue our Sutta discussion, day 52. And this is the third class of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. And we discuss about the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta as a basic, we gave a basic introduction to the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. And then we started discussing about the first extreme end that a bhikkhu, I would say, a monk or a nun, should not follow. That was Dhammacakkappavattana last Friday. So in Dhammacakkappavattana session, I elaborated on how Dhammacakkappavattana works. For many, it means that addiction to the clinging to the sensual pleasures. But of course, when it comes to monks and nuns, we don't have even to experience in that context. But if you take it from the layman concept, the layman words, I would say clinging to the sensual pleasures. And today we have Attakilamathānuyoga. Attakilamathānuyoga is the opposite of the Dhammacakkappavattana. Now let's separate out the words first. Okay. What is Atta? Let me type for you. What does Atta mean? Anybody wants to guess? What does Atta mean? In Pali, yeah? These are in Pali.
Gold. Gold.
Gold? Wait.
Gold.
How about self? Self.
Yeah, self. Atta. You say I, Atta. I mean my Atta. Self. It's okay, I mean, try to find out the meaning. Okay? Yeah, it's good. Yeah. So then we'll find out. We'll find out. Kilamata. Kilamata. Atta self. Kilamata.
Mortification.
Mortification. That's what you see in the translation. What does kilamata actually mean, Dhammacakkappavattana? Kilamata. Kilamata means being tired, fatigue, weariness. Okay. Kilamata means weariness or fatigue, or you are tired. You are not just tired, you are making yourself tired. Okay? You are making yourself tired. So, Attakilamathānuyoga. Anuyoga, I think you know the meaning of Anuyoga. Anuyoga means according to that particular practice. That means if somebody is giving pain, if somebody is giving a lot of fatigue to oneself, that is called Attakilamathānuyoga. Now, what are the translations that we see normally? Self-mortification, austere way. These are a little bit deeper translations. Even our made one, we say here self-mortification. But in general terms, Attakilamathānuyoga means Atta means self, Kilamata means fatigue, or I would say you are making yourself tired, and then you are practicing a certain practice whereby you are giving a lot of pain to you. Right? That is basically Attakilamathānuyoga. Now, I have a habit of asking you to read that. So let me share the screen. So then I want you to develop your Pali knowledge too, like Pali reading too. Let's see how it works. Here. Okay, so Attakilamathānuyoga. See, maybe I can invite someone to read, who would like to read 6 and 7. I think, 8, 9 is Chandima. Anybody who would dare to read 6 and 7?
Attakilamathānuyoga.
Yeah.
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, go ahead, Sadhris.
Anaryo anatta.
You can read number 6, number 6 and number 7. Yeah.
Yo chayam Attakilamathānuyogo dukho anaryo anatta samhito.
Great. Okay. It's pretty easy to, articulate. Yo chayam Attakilamathānuyogo dukho anaryo anatta samhito. Okay. So anybody wants to think about how this has to be understood in your own way? What is yo chayam? Yo chayam, ayam. Yo ayam, that means, and this Attakilamathānuyoga. Now, the self-mortification people might not particularly understand. Atta means self. Kilamata means you are mortifying. I would say a very easy word is that you are giving a lot of pain. I would say not pain. You are giving fatigue to yourself. You're getting tired at the end, right? So that is what we call by, number 6. Dukkho anariyo anatta. So Attakilamathānuyoga is painful, ignoble, which is not noble, and not connected with the permanent is useless. Right? Anatta sang, it is useless. I mean, it is not worthy for you to practice it. Now here we know that is for the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis in the first place. Now let's see whether we find dukkho under the Kamasupallikāna. Do you see dukkho? Do you see whether Buddha names Kamasupallikānuyoga to be a dukkha? No. Why is it? Kamasupallikānuyoga is not dukkha. Dhammacakkappavattana is about pleasures. Anariyo, you see anariyo in both places, that means definitely it is not noble, because if you go on two extreme ends, that means definitely you are not going to follow something that is noble. Anatta Sanghito is common to both. Why is it? Because just as Kamasupallikānuyoga is not taking you to the Majjhima Patipada, in the same way, Attakilamathānuyoga also does not take you to the Majjhima Patipada. Right? So the only difference here is that self-modification, I would say, Attakilamathānuyoga is painful. Now we come to certain conflicts. Okay? Now the Buddha says, if your practice is getting painful, then you must think about it. Let's talk about this in our life. Have you ever tried meditating with so much, I would say, pain? Let's say you can't sit down properly on a floor, but you really want to practice meditation, but you can't. You are not that type, because you think that meditation is only sitting down. In Satipatthana Sutta, if you cannot do breath meditation, you can sit down on a chair. Even if not, you can do posture meditation. Bunch of meditations you can do according to your way, your comfort, right? But let's say somebody is trying so hard for the meditation, probably another practice in Buddhism that might give that person a lot of pain. Let me ask you, were there any Buddhist practice that you found difficult? Probably you feel pain, right? Let's say it might be something, I would say, doctrinal, probably practical, in the cultural, sense. Have you ever felt that these practices are difficult for me? I cannot do it, probably. That is not what you want. Anybody wants to add anything to that? Okay, let me ask you this general question. How many of you found meditation is easy for you? Posture-wise, not mental-wise. Posture-wise, how many of you found meditation is very easy for you? See, it's one. Probably this silence can tell a lot. Yes, Adris? Yeah, please unmute.
Yes, meditation is no problem, but only once a while when you have a leg issue, then you have to adjust yourself, or else go for a walk and come back again.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, once in a while it's okay, right? So you manage to get ready for that, right?
Yes.
But do you think that the certain way that you are supposed to, probably you are asked to practice meditation wherever you are, seems very comfortable for you as an everyday practice?
Should be no problem. Only when on the day you're not feeling well, or something which is bothering your mind. That's about all. Other than that, shouldn't be any problem.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? Let's talk about meditation, because that is the hardest part for many people, right? It doesn't say meditation is bad. Okay. I'm telling you different ways. Anybody else? What practice has given you this feeling that it is hard for me to stay on to, especially by physical wise? Yeah, Kim.
Monkey mind.
Okay, monkey mind. Yes. Yeah, that is a common. I think that is why we all have come here. We want to learn Dhamma and we want to practice it. That is the core reason, right? The core reason is that we all need to tame our mind that is jumping from, like a monkey, jumping from one place to the other. Other than that, Kim, have you ever found out any practice difficult for you? Probably concentrating, probably posture-wise, probably physical-wise.
Yeah. I actually try. I like to do meditation, but I find it very difficult. I cannot concentrate. Like I say, I have monkey mind, and then sitting also, I'll be adjusting here and there. So, yeah.
Is it like teaching grammar first before teaching spoken English? Huh? I think it's similar to that. So when you want to teach somebody maybe English or another language, I think people get interested about some funny stuff, fun facts, right? And they will then learn the hard part. Okay, singular, plural, superlative, and the connections, comparisons. Okay, yeah. But if you start with the grammar first, so it's like you start with the hardware first, putting the software down, then it might lead everybody to feel that this is not what I want at this point. So in the same way, the Buddha said, no practice should give the pain, right? The way how we practice. Now let's look at, anybody else want to add anything before I jump into the next point about,
the sitting down there when the pain arises, some very severe pain, my teacher always tell me, the pain is very good. It's very good for you. You just bear it, watch it, see it.
Yeah.
But the more I watch, the more pain become. It's very, very hard to endure. Bear this pain for 1 hour. It's sometimes very hard.
Yes, that I think the Bhante or whoever the teacher has thought that compared to the Nibbana, it is okay, it is good that you can notice something. But compared to your physical pain, that is not going to be okay. So if I were you, I'm going to tell meditation is mostly managing our mind and then leading our mind to a certain particular object.
Bhante.
So you can do it in a comfortable posture.
That's what I used to think. Meditation is a mental process. So
Yes.
we don't have to torture our body physically. So
that's what I'm trying to say.
So I think if that's the case, then the best thing is I lie down and do. I lie down very comfortable, no pain, very nice.
Oh, that is another end. So you feel more comfortable with the sleep at that point. I think the best thing to understand there is that a comfortable position, like a no harm position for the meditation, like sitting down, is the best thing.
It's the best thing.
Okay. Anybody else wants to add anything about anything that you found difficult as a hard practice?
Sitting on the chair is okay, Bhante. Sitting on the chair.
Perfectly okay. I don't think any problem with that.
No problem with that.
But brother, there is something else here. Now in the Anapanasati Sutta, even you see Girimananda Sutta, the Buddha says, Ujum Kayam Panidaya Parimukham Sating Upattapetva. Ujung kayang panidai. Now, it doesn't say you have to keep your leg crossed. Okay. It does say that you need to keep your back upright, because that
yes.
is how you're going to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
your breath flowing.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
if you keep that maintaining, then I think everything
It's
else
okay.
is okay. Because you can't do the breath meditation while you are riding a bus, right? On the train.
Yes.
You have to focus on that. Okay, so meditation is one thing that most people find difficult because they are not told that there are different ways to practice meditation. So it is
Bhante,
not the problem with the meditation. It is
Bhante,
the
so,
only way how people suggest.
Bhante, so like what Brother Wu said, it's okay to lie down.
Well, I think, you know, when I say a comfortable position, don't take the extreme. Don't try to misuse what I say. I'm trying to say, you know, it's like, you know, boys, don't talk louder. You know, I'm telling somebody, and then they're gonna misuse it at a certain point. They're gonna talk louder. You know, he doesn't say anything about us, right? So I think comfortable position means that you can't practice while sitting down, like being seated. So you sit down on a chair. Not that you go lie down. When you lie down, you feel more attached to the sensual pleasures at that point. But probably you can do a certain meditation. So better to sit down on a chair, because you have the problem with the legs. He said he has severe pain. So then in order to overcome that severe pain, he takes a sit on a chair. Then when he wants to lie down, he will have no serious pain. He will be more into pleasures, thinking, oh, wow, comfortable, couch, sofa. At that point, there's even no motivation to practice. Okay, great. Now, let me ask
So,
you
Bhante,
something.
clarify, Bhante, when we said sit down on a chair, we must specify that the chair does not have a back for you to lean on. That means you sit on the stool only. Because
No,
if you
no,
have
you
the
said-
back, you sit down, very enjoy. You must sit without a back.
It depends, brother, because now you said you have a severe pain in leg. Somebody may have a severe back pain. That person may have to lean onto the backrest. So we can't say that, right? So the idea here is, more than the positions, you are trying to concentrate on what you are doing. Okay. So now, let me ask you, did the Buddha practice Attakilamathānuyoga? Did the Buddha practice Attakilamathānuyoga as an ascetic? Generally speaking, when you understand an ascetic means someone who is practicing a lot of painful practices. How many years? Did he practice Attakilamathānuyoga in his own way?
About 6 years.
6 years.
He practiced Attakilamathānuyoga for 6 years. So, what did he do actually? What did he do in the 6 years?
He tried every ways that the yogis are doing it, like going hunger, less food.
One grain of-
fasting. Yeah, 1 grain of food, and then fasting was the main thing, right? Fasting. So he did the fasting. Probably he not even fasting. He did not eat anything, right? So he gave lots of pain. What else? In the Arya-Pariyesana Sutta of Majjhima Nikaya, it says he did not even take a shower for many years, right? So it's, I think, better than saying all that, you can read Arya-Pariyesana Sutta. That means Majjhima Nikaya. I can sort of give you the number. Arya-Pariyesana Sutta is appeared in Majjhima Nikaya 26. So this is the sutta where Buddha talks about how much pain he had. Arya-Pariyesana Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 2 and 6. At the end of this sutta, what happened was okay, can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, at the end of the sutta, what may have happened to many was that the monks, they were really scared of what the Buddha practiced as an asset. So he did everything. There were 5 monks all the time. So they were telling him, try to practice this, what you call the austere practices, giving pain practices, so that you can attain Nibbana. But then at a certain point, he understood this is not the way. This is not the way to awakening. So even you have something like that in your practice, if you are working too much on that in your Dhamma practice, then this is something that we can think about. Too much pain to the body will never take us anywhere, right? So that doesn't mean we have to be more comfortable. Something that you can do is what we have to do, right? You cannot do because it might take you to unnecessary, things at that point. Okay. Can you give me a second? You can hear me, right? Okay, great. So I think Attakilamathānuyoga and Kamasukallikanuyoga, they are more relevant to eating habits in the first place. Because I think when you are eating too much food, then you are getting into Kamasukallikanuyoga. And then if you are eating like too less food, I would say it leads you to malnutrition, right? This is what happened to the Prince Siddhartha. So that is from the eating side, like having food. So may I ask you, does consuming food affect our spiritual practice? That's a very important point. How does it affect us?
It makes you lazy.
It makes us lazy. I think when we talk about Buddhist teachings, one of the very least emphasized topics is the food. Because like you finding all the good food for a monk in the temple. So you are looking for good food. Because the more delicious food you offer, there are teachings that you are going to be reborn, you're getting this and that. So the discussion is kind of left away in that context too. On the other hand, and you are also trying to eat food, and you might not consider about the Buddhist practice when it comes to eating, right? Now, the Mahayana followers, they don't eat meat, right? Theravada followers don't have that kind of a thing. They have some doctrinal things. How does food affect us? Laziness is the biggest problem. So when you eat too much food, you feel lazy. Once you feel lazy, where are you going to head on? You are going to?
Bed. Going to bed. Going to bed. Sleep.
Sleep. And how do we understand? We are like, once you are lazy, or I would say, more comfortable, you are more vulnerable to enjoy pleasures. Is it true? Let's say you are more comfortable to, what do you call the food, and that laziness will take you to a lot of pleasures. So that means we should be able to have a sort of a, moderation for that. Now, that is why even the Jains, the Niganta's followers, they said we are not eating different food like root vegetables. What are they? Potatoes, onions. They don't eat because they think they are going, by eating such, we are going to pull up the roots so that some animals are going to die. Right? So we are not looking at that way. And then they are trying to minimize all that. So basically, when we are eating too much, that makes us lazy, and then that might take us to a lot of pleasures. That is Kamasukallika. On the other hand, when we are not consuming enough food, when we think that we need to give a lot of pain, like the Jains, how did they do that? They thought we're going to burn all our previous karmas, right? Like how people burn calories. We want to burn all our previous karmas, and we're going to stop our future karmas. Is it possible to do like that in Buddhism? Can you stop? You can burn your old karmas by doing good things, but every moment when you are having chetana, volition, you are creating karmas, good or bad karmas. It's not possible. In that way, they were torturing themselves. They were trying to torture themselves. So this is how the Jains looked at what you call austere practice. I would say the Attakilamathānuyoga. So the Buddha said Attakilamathānuyoga, giving pain to oneself, is not a good practice, because that will take you to a wrong end. But somebody may question two things. One is energy. Right? In Buddhism, we are asked to practice energy, virya. What does virya mean? Keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. Isn't that something that takes us to some hard stuff? How do we understand virya, energy? Now, there are a lot of people who understand Dhamma. They know that this is what I should do, but they are not able to do it. Why is it? They ran out of virya, energy, right? It's like those people who try to be sugarless for a week, then hard to manage it. On the 8th day, they're going to compensate for that time, right? I would say not eating sugar for a week, and then the 8th day, because I did not eat sugar for a week, I'm gonna compensate sugar for the whole time, right? So you are pressing yourself so hard, right? So there are things like that. So that is why the Buddha said, in order for you to practice Dhamma, not even the knowledge that is necessary, you should need constant practice. So what do you need to do the constant practice? You need virya, energy. Let's say you might feel, today I'm so lazy, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do my meditation. I don't want to do my chanting. I don't want to go to the temple if necessary. Yeah? I don't want to do this good thing. Then you are getting lazy. The Buddha said that is a problem. But you should not pressurize yourself, because we need that virya, energy. Because if you lose virya.
Sorry, Bhante, is it same as effort?
Yeah, effort, energy.
Okay.
I took the simple word.
Okay.
I took a
Same,
simple word called energy. Then effort is kind of a very deeper word because we call samma vayama. But energy means we have what you call good positive energy within us. So if we don't have it, we can't practice if we know the Dhamma, right? It is like when you interview people who have done a lot of bad things, they say, yeah, I know that. I knew it, but I did it, right? It is because they ran out of their energy. So we have to separate out energy from the Attakilamathānuyoga. Okay? So energy and Attakilamathānuyoga are two things. What are the other experiences you know from the textbooks, I would say the text, or in your life about hard practices? Do you think that are we supposed to be hard on certain practices? Now, we already talked about meditation. I gave you simple alternatives. Don't worry about your posture unless you are staying on to the particular methodology, right? Because you can focus yourself. It's fine. Let's take other practices. Are there any other practices that you have found that to be very hard on you?
The 5 precepts.
5 precepts. That's a good one. Is it a Buddhist teaching? It is a pre-Buddhist teaching, but still it is difficult. Then what about the 10 kusala? The 10 kusala, I always remind you, panatipata, adinadana, kamisumichachara, then what else? Musavada, pisunavacha, sampappalapa, then abhijja, vyapada, miccha. They are higher than, they are higher stuff. So is taking care of, is protecting yourself from the 5 precepts very difficult for all of you? It depends, right? It depends the way how you look at it. Panatipata, of course, we are not supposed to take other person's life, stealing, misbehaving, not lying. And then the last one, it is not just about taking drinks and other things. It is about that you are harming your mind, by which you can make a sound judgment. So I don't know. I mean, how do you look at it being hard, Hema? Do you have a point to say that this particular area is hard? This particular thing is hard out of the 5 precepts.
Bhante, when it's been challenged, there's a cockroach in the kitchen or what? Oh no! When it came out from the basin, I just thinking, oh no. I have to catch it and then to let it go through the window. So I find it's challenging, testing me.
That's
and also ants in the garden.
Yes.
Tough. Yeah, that's the only 2 that I find is very challenging.
Okay, so tiny animals, creatures like ants, mosquitoes, right? So probably we can try to do something by which they are not invited into our garden or our house. Keep the house always clean and tidy. Let's say that you are eating and then you are not cleaning up. I mean, in some people's houses. So the ants are coming up, and then people, after they having coffee or tea, they are not washing their cups. So then the ants start to come, right? So we can do certain simple things. Also, our what you call garbage disposal thing. Probably doing once a while a kind of a chemical treatment. You don't see the animals, but you do it so that they are not coming. So I think trying to do some alternatives can help. But if you could, you're going to put that person outside. But there may be some challenging times too.
Bhante, like last weekend, because it's a raining season, it's a migration of ants to the plants. They are from the garden to garden like that. So it's challenging to me that there was whole bunch was at the tree at the branches. So literally, it was testing me. I just have to make sure it doesn't get into our building. So I have to cut the branch and make sure I know the gardener is coming. So I hurry up, cut one day in advance and throw in the throw outside my compound first to let the ants run away.
Mhm.
So it's very, really testing is an effort.
Yeah.
But you say it's a viraya, whether am I going to save it or let the gardener handle it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm been tested lately on ants
Yeah.
from the
That is-
garden. The
That is a
garden area.
harmless situation. It's a very
Yeah.
harmless situation. What about that when somebody is driving on the road, suddenly there's an animal coming onto the highway or road, and you can't stop the car, because once you stop the car, you might be in trouble. Also, the cars coming
Accident.
after you will have a series of accidents, right? You're trying to save an animal on the road. So that means we have, Hema, we have to look at the bigger picture. That is very important. Now, if I bring this example to a soldier, a policeman, let's say there is a domestic violence in a house, right? Somebody is going to stab or shoot the other person. Police are called, they are coming. And the person is not trying to, resist, right? And they will do something. They might use some extra force, but they are not doing it to harm. They are not doing it with hatred, right? Probably they are trying to make sure the safety of the other innocent person, safety of the people in the building, in the company, or wherever. So I think Hema, I think we have to look at this killing, non-killing precept from a very bigger picture, wider picture. Like, for example, if you look at this example, the Jains, the Nigantas, they are the ones who said even if you kill a tiny, small creature, you are going to break the precept, right? And you are going to, that is their practice. So what they did was that they were thinking, okay, we're going to drink water from the river or lakes, but don't drink it just by drawing water from the rivers, lakes. So we have to boil it down. So they had to boil it. They didn't know that while boiling, they are killing all the bacteria, right? Like, do we have this mentality that you go and then you're going to boil some water for a tea just now? Probably after this, do you think, okay, now there is small organism in this water, they're gonna be killed now? We don't have that mentality because we don't look at it that way. If you are too much concerned, sometimes you might end up with a lot of remorse. You are driving on the highway. Do you see any animals on the road? Tiny creatures? No. But if you think, okay, I'm going to run a lot of animals today, I'm driving so far, you end up with a lot of remorse. I think the precepts have to be understood from a bigger point. It doesn't say that we can do bad things. We are trying our best, level best, but do not try to project too much, right? Now, in your example, Hema, you said that if you had not cut that branch off, these tiny creatures could have come to the building and there will be a big problem. And then you can't even save the building. But what will happen at the end is that you have to call the pest control and they will kill all the animals in one shot, right? So it's more havoc at that point, right? Yeah, Sadiris?
I think it all boils down to that action that you do, the intention, whether you want to get rid in a way to kill it or just simply push it away. Intention comes to be more important.
Yeah, because intention or
You
volition
enjoy it?
is a very private thing that, let's say, you know what you have done, right? But the problem is you see the external situation, right? Let's say somebody witnesses you, but you also project the external thing. Okay, there was a cockroach in my kitchen now, I had to do something. That doing might end up with something very worse, So you have to get over that too.
There is an accident. Let's say you want to chase a cockroach and you happen to step on it.
In case that happened. Now, in this case, you see the cockroach is safe, comfortably living somewhere in the kitchen. You see him. You are not stepping on the cockroach, but you see, or you can take him out and then, Yeah. Anyways, so look at the bigger picture of all this. So then you can, that's one of the easiest ways to practice. Any other practices that you found hard? Panatipata is a good example. A lot of people ask this. Let's take another example for that Panatipata. You have you down with a cough. Okay. Probably a cold, probably a fever, right? And then you go to see a doctor. The doctor says that this could be a bacteria infection. So I have to give you antibiotic. What does antibiotic mean? Stopping an organism of a certain living being. So do you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to kill my bacteria, so I should not do that? Does that work for you? No. So try to be open-minded. Look at the truth here, you know. The doctor is trying to save you. See his motive, his intention. He wants to save you. And you are also trying to save yourself, because if I die, I cannot practice Dhamma. Right? Just because our body is anicca, just let go of myself is not good, because I could practice more Dhamma, like being here, till I attain certain stages if I could. So look at the wider, bigger picture of the precept. Don't try to just pick, you can't kill. That doesn't mean that you can kill or you cannot kill. How do I understand killing in my life, in my daily life? Now, for example, look at the people who work for the pest control. Look at the people who make meat. Look at the people who catch fish. Look at the people who do other things, right? You know, so while we see that actions look to be panatipata, but the motive. So we have to look at motive in a different way. I'm not saying that such actions are okay, but we have to look at the activity from a wider perspective so that we can overcome panatipata.
I think, Bhante, I'd like to share one. There was once a beehive came out, and yeah, I gave 1 month to see, because of the safety, because, you know, when watering the garden, you worry that the bees may come after us. So the beehive was there for a month. Then the day I called the pest control to come for the safety, because of the safety in case it stings on us, then my mind was setting to tell the bees, you know, through metta, to please, you know, leave the place, you know, as soon as possible. And I give the time period that the pest control is coming. And I can't believe the day the pest control come, the whole thing disappeared. I went there and I couldn't believe, Bhante. Even the hive is gone. I couldn't believe.
They may have packed up and left.
Yeah, and giving them time
Yes.
time to leave. I
Yes.
couldn't believe. And Bhante, I'll send you the picture. It's so beautiful, beehive.
Okay.
But I can't
That's a
believe
good
it. I can't
example.
see the hive. I was
Probably,
amazed.
yeah, probably kind of a feeling, miraculous feeling that they thought
Yeah.
that they're gonna get, you know, get over by
Yeah.
species. Anyways.
The notice been giving them space, and then somehow or other it works. Then I was surprised.
Yes.
I was surprised. Miracle does happen.
Yes. And the
You know?
other thing, Dhamma folks, whatever happened in your life, either an unintentional action that you don't know, but it happened. The biggest problem, the biggest vipaka that comes to you in this life or in future lives is that your regret, remorse. If you are so much, remorse is necessary to understand our fault, our mistake. But if you keep carrying that remorse, then what will happen? You will be suffering more, right? Because remorse is dosa, hatred. Because you hate yourself. Why I did that? Why couldn't I do it? Actually, you couldn't have done anything. You could have done nothing at that point, but you still try to project yourself. So remorse is more dangerous. So if something happened, try to give that clear picture and then don't carry that forward. Kelvin?
Okay, Bhante.
Bhante, this is with regards to the fourth precept of Musavada. So in situations where if we do tell white lies, you know, and it's sort of like save that particular person, from suffering. But if we do not tell the white lie and that if it's the truth and the person suffers, so this is a bit like a conundrum. Should we actually assist them, or should we actually alleviate her
Pain.
suffering? Yeah, pain.
Exactly like Panatipata. Now see, when it comes to Musavada, now in the West, when somebody got diagnosed with a cancer, doctor directly tells that to the patient. Means you have a cancer, you have the breast cancer, you have this cancer. So you have to get ready now. But in the East, doctors don't say, especially in Sri Lanka, doctors don't say that. Because they want to keep the, peace of that person. But anyways, there are certain advantages and disadvantages. But the interesting thing is that the white lie mindset. Now, although on the surface level, it may be a lie, but your intention is to protect. Intention is to do something good, right? This can happen only in certain rare situations, not all the time. So try to be truthful. But there are times that you need to understand the situation and then behave in the same. Like you go to a nice restaurant and the waitress is asking, about the food. Actually, you don't like the food, You don't say, it's not good, right? You never say that. You say, yeah, delicious. Because you want to see the happiness from that side too, right? But if you want to be more critical, if you are given a chance, if it is private, then you can say that, the right thing, not the right thing, I think, the true feeling that you have. So there may be moments where we may have to say something that might not be the truth, but you're going to do it by looking at a wider, bigger perspective also. Wider, bigger perspective is the key to practicing the 5 precepts. Do not cheat people, do not swindle anybody, do not lie to anybody. But if you, let's say, whenever you are going to tell the truth about two people are going to fight each other, talk bad about each other. So then, are you supposed to tell even at that point? No, you know that the Buddha said, before you practice any precept, try to keep the peace everywhere. Peace is very important because these people are very different people. So we have to understand what will happen if I do this, right? So that means you may have to pretend at that point, like Kelvin said, might be a white lie, it might be a different type of compliment, because you want to see the peace, you want to protect people, you want to see the peace, right? So Musavada is a good example in that way. So Panatipata is like that. What else? So in if you keep thinking, you could find a lot of examples.
Bhante, regarding the 5 precepts, can we take it? There will be times, as you say, looking at the bigger picture, we will have to break the little precepts here and there. But then the significance is that the 5 precepts is phrased in such a way that, correct me if I'm wrong, it says it is the training rule that we try to keep. So it is not the very, like they say, written in stone. So it's a training rule. As long as we train ourselves not to do it wantonly, occasionally we may have to do it. For example, there's a fly flying around the food, so I have to swat it away, because otherwise it brings a lot of diseases on the food that people eat. So this is the training rule. We try not to do it, but if we have to do it, we have to do it. Can I interpret it this way?
No, good. Good way of saying that. Let me tell you the bigger picture of the all 5 precepts. Is the practice of Sila a stand-alone practice or a practice connected to another bigger virtues? Should we practice Sila as a stand-alone, like only practice, or we have to practice Sila with another practices? Sila should not be practiced alone.
Yeah.
Sila must be practiced along with
Agree.
samadhi and panya. Now, this is the problem. How do
Hmm.
why do we say we might have to say a white lie because we have panya, because we know if I say this, there are people
Yeah.
troubling each other, there are people
Right.
conflicting each other. I have
Yes.
panya. Why we are not trying to sometimes do what is seen outside with Panatipata, as Hema said, because we have panya. Because of panya, we are looking beyond just a statement, right? But
Yeah.
our purpose is try to practice each precept as much as you could. But
Yeah.
if we could not, definitely we have to get into those higher levels to understand.
Yes.
Now, our point today is not just sila. Our point is,
Correct.
the Buddha said, if you are hard on your any practice, it is not good. So sila is one of the things. And the bhavana side is samadhi. I think not a lot of people complain is that I have been very hard on my panya. Actually, not a lot of people say that. Wisdom, nobody said my practice of wisdom is very hard for me. They always say sila is so hard for me. Meditation, samadhi is very hard on me. Then what about panya? Panya is our goal. Why do we practice sila and samadhi? To go to panya.
Panya.
Now they only take sila and samadhi and they end up, right? So our purpose is to go to panya, right?
Yeah,
So
Bhante,
if we, yes, Sadhris.
From what I see, we might break some rules of this and that, but the main thing is to correct it, and if possible, it get bad when we enjoy doing it repeatedly over and over. That's the problem.
Yeah, and
But
also
we know we do
yes.
a mistake, we back off.
Yes, yes. At the same time, Sadhris and all, we should not create any what do you call conditions for us to break any precept. Because conditions are the things that we have to look at all the time. Let's say if your house is not clean and tidy, if you are not, that is about Panatipata. What about Adinnadana? If you have not been creating a good life, comfortable life, at least a comfortable life. What about Kamasumichachara? If you are not loving your spouse very well, and then you will have a pretty broken life, and then you might be into other people, right? So it's all about not managing oneself. That takes you to the conditions of breaking the precept. If you go to Musavada, okay, why do we have to say even a white lie, Kelvin? See, because the kind of the people we associate. There are people, troublemakers, or probably people who are looking for compliments, right? So if we associate really Kalyana Mitras, we don't have to even say a white lie, because we don't have to, right? And what about Sura Mere? Why do many people break Sura Mere, the fifth precept? Is it because of the kind of the people that they are associating with? Party friends, people who would like to say that, oh, I'm very stressed out, I'm very down today, let's go and have a drink, like, the kind of people you are associating. I'm not saying having a drink is not according to Buddhism, but it all affects the conditions you are creating by yourself. So if you are creating yourself good conditions, let's say you are keeping your place clean and tidy, and then you know what you are doing, so you take care of Panatipata. Adinnadana, yes, you have been doing very well with your life, so you may not need to. Kamasumichachara, yes, you have a very good life in that way, so you don't need to. Musavada, you have Kalyana Mitras, you don't have to lie to anyone, you can talk the real naked truth, right? No problem. You are making a good conditions not to lie. Suramerya is as such. So keep in mind, Sila, we are practicing Sila because we want to go to Samadhi. Or maybe we have to go to Samadhi with Sila and then Panya. So that is the purpose. So don't be hard on any of the Buddhist practices. Okay? If somebody is trying to tell you, you have to be hard on your practice, that is going to be a problem. I remember, I don't want to say the name of that person. Sometimes ago, I've been watching a Sinhalese program, kind of an episode. It's about Abhidhamma. At the end of the session, at the end of every session, the person is telling that, you don't sleep tonight, the whole night, practice Dhamma, you have to practice Dhamma the whole overnight, even tomorrow, because samsara is so dangerous, right? Practice more meditation, right? So this is what I'm sharing with you, so you are trying to keep this, what you call fear, anxiety, stress, this hardness onto anybody. In Buddhism, no. Even Vishaka, who became a Sotapanna at the age of 7, even married to a man, had 20 over children, right? It is an understanding, but you are not into Kamasukkallikana, you are not into Attakilamathānuyoga, you are having a life by understanding all these extreme ways. So once again, let's go back to our text so we can sort of finalize. Okay. Last Friday, we discussed about sensual indulgence, Kamasukkallikānuyoga. Let me ask you, what is Kama? Sensual pleasures. Kama means sensual, Sukha means pleasures. Allika. What does Allika mean?
Clinging.
Clinging to the sensual pleasures. The practice of clinging to the sensual pleasures. So that is what you call hino, low, gammo, vulgar, potujjaniko, it's very worldly, like everybody does in the world. Anariyo, ignoble, anatta sankitona, no purpose. It's a profitless, like meaningless practice. And then today, Attakilamathānuyoga. How did we separate out? Atta means
Self.
Kilamatha, fatigue. Forget fatigue. Anuyoga means the practice of giving fatigue to oneself. The practice of giving fatigue or pain. Now, fatigue means you are at the end, you're going to be, it will take you to the pain, the fatigue. And the Buddha did not use a lot of words for that. Now, look at it. Only 3 adjectives. 1, 2, 3. Now here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kamasukkallikānuyoga looks like to be more dangerous, because when you are dealing with pleasures, you don't know where you are heading to. Now, Attakilamathānuyoga, it is also not good, but it has been given in 3 ways. Dukkho, painful, definitely. Anariyo, it's not noble. And anatta sanghito, it is it's not leading you to your purpose, right? And then we have to do Majjhima Patipada after that. Now, let me ask you something. It's very interesting, because there are people who think the Buddha rejected the ascetic practices. I want to tell you, there is a sutta called Mahasihanada Sutta. See that, the number? Okay, Mahasihanada Sutta is Digha Nikaya number 8 or number 12. So there are a couple of Mahasihanada Suttas. I would say Mahasihanada Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. Okay, Digha Nikaya 8 actually. Mahasihanada Sutta. Let me write for you. If you want to read, it's not necessary, but Digha Nikaya, number 8. There are 2 Mahasihanada in the Majjhima Nikaya too, but this is Digha Nikaya. In this sutta, there is an ascetic who came to the Buddha and asked from the Buddha something about what he may have said. He said to the Buddha, Bhante, I have heard that you must have told people that all the ascetic practices, fasting, being naked, not taking showers, what else? All those ascetic practices are wrong. They are wrong. They are not good, right? None of them lead to anything. Did you really say like that? Or was it said by somebody else that they are putting blame on you? You know what the Buddha said? The Buddha said, this is not true. I have never told anybody that ascetic practices are not conducive to any happiness. Okay? That means the Buddha says, Buddha did not ignore the ascetics, but those practices do not lead to Nibbana. That is the problem. Let's say now, for instance, somebody does not eat food, only take one meal every day, right? Is it a good practice?
Yes.
Someone might say, I'm not eating 2 other meals. I only eat 1 meal every morning. For that person, it might be a good idea. Even interim fasting. Now, our Muslim brothers also don't eat for some time, right? Ramadan time, is fasting practice, right? But the problem is, just because you are fasting, it does not lead to the Nibbana. And that is the thing, right? Buddha said, too much fasting is not good for you. And the nakedness, the Jains were naked, right? Why is it? They said, we even don't attach to our dress. The Buddha said, oh yes, we should not attach to anything. But why you are going to be naked? What's the purpose of being naked? Just get dressed. Right? While you getting dressed, take it to your mind, I'm not attaching to the dress, but don't take it off. Right? So he was teaching us something very interesting. And then what about being, practicing, they were like naked and then going to be in the hot sun. And then once the Buddha asked them, what are you doing here? The Jains told the Buddha, Bhante, we are going to burn all our bad karmas we may have done in past life. Then the Buddha asked a very funny question. How much bad karma have you already? Oh, said, we don't know, right? We don't know about it. So, the Buddha never said they are wrong. The Buddha said they are not leading to the Nibbana. Only Majjhima Patipada leads to Nibbana. So never ever, insult, never ever criticize any ascetic practice. Because they have their own ways of doing it. Even Hinduism, they have their own ways, I would say, different concepts. If you go to Islamism, they have their own practice. If you go to Judaism, they have their own ways of practicing. But their purpose is not to attain Nibbana. So then what's the problem? So the Buddha said, I have not told anybody ascetic practices are wrong, but I said they are not going to help us attain Nibbana. Nibbana is our purpose. If anything is not giving Nibbana at the end, I'm not approving that practice, but let people who want to do it, do it. So I think today you learn what does Attakilamathānuyoga mean, but let me ask you, what does Attakilamathānuyoga mean at the end?
Bhante, pain to oneself, is it?
Giving lot of
Pain to yourself.
Pain to oneself. Now, when you say oneself, it is physical oneself or it is mental oneself? Interesting. Huh?
Mental.
Both
Both.
types of self. So let's say you are not eating, you are fasting, and then you are not keeping you comfortable. So there is physical pain. What about the mental pain? Do people do that? Yes. What are the forms of giving extreme pain to your mind, mentality? Overthinking is one. And then remorse. I have done this, I have done a bad karma. Actually, these Jains, they had this all the time because we had done past bad karma, right? So it's like confessions and then remorse, right? And expiation. That is what they were doing, right? Expiation is a Christian concept. The God can help us, clear our past, the bad karma. In the same way, the Jains thought by giving a lot of pain to our body, we can overcome our bad karma. Buddha said, no, just because you are giving pain, you are not overcoming your bad karma. Do more positive karmas. Then only you can break the circle. But with the kusala perspective, not the punya perspective. So in that way, Attakilamathānuyoga means giving a lot of pain to one's body in order to attain Nibbana. No, you won't be able to attain Nibbana by giving a lot of pain to you. Then Kamasukallikanuyoga, giving a lot of pleasures to
Enjoyment.
your body and then trying to attain Nibbana. Will that be possible also? Practical?
cannot.
It may be practical to you, somebody. Just like that, somebody went to the bed and oh, I'm so comfortable.
During come here.
Right?
Yeah, mommy.
I'm so comfortable. But it is not leading you to Nibbana too. Kamasukallikanuyoga does not lead to Nibbana because you are giving a lot of pleasures to yourself. But you need some pleasures definitely. And Attakilamathānuyoga also does not lead to Nibbana because when you are painful, you cannot concentrate. Right? Now let's talk about what the meditation master told Brother Wu. I think we can finish our discussion with that thing. When he complained to the master, my legs are painful. See, that is how you're going to develop your meditation. How you are advancing your meditation. Focus on that pain.
Focus on the pain.
Yes, actually, that is an advice given to a monk, not to a lay person.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'm always trying to separate the lay people stuff and the monk stuff. Remember, I tell you the example. Remember, monk Godika. His name was Godika. For you, it's a very good example. Monk Godika. Monk Godika has been trying to meditate a lot, right? But every time he started meditating for some time, he expired from the meditation. Something comes to his mind and then practice is going to expire. He knows that I'm distracted now, so I cannot practice. One day he thought, no, I'm going to do, if not, I'm going to cut my neck with probably a knife. So he expired. Now he is cutting his neck. According to this story. What happened? After a while, he died. And then on the same day evening, Mara, you know Mara? Machu Mara, I would say Vasavatti Mara maybe, he came to see the Buddha and asked, where is Bhikkhu Godika now? He asked from the Buddha. Buddha said, people like you will never find where is Bhante Godika now. What may have happened to Bhante Godika then? What may have happened to him if Mara cannot find him? Can Mara find us, trace us? Yes. Mara can find us very fast because we are in his realm now, Sansara. Right? But Godika, monk Godika cannot be seen. So he asked from the Buddha. Buddha said, what happened was that while he was doing that, he felt the pain, so he focused on the Vedana-anupassana. Vedana-anupassana, the second Satipatthana, then he attained Nibbana. Now, Brother Wu, if somebody is to advise you, there is a story like this. Even you do that, you can practice Vedana-anupassana and attain Nibbana. What a bad idea is that? Right? That is not a practical idea. It is only for a certain specific monk at the time of the Buddha. That is why I'm always saying, don't bring those past stories right into our life because it might not work to us. But understand the idea, the background. The background is, let's say, it was for a monk actually. Whenever you have pain, think that this pain is also anicca, changing all the time. If my pain in the leg is changing, that means I cannot find happiness in that. Then I understand it is dukkha. When my pain is changing and then dissatisfactory, unsatisfactory, then I cannot say it is my pain. It is pain because my body is a combination of the 5 aggregate rupa, vedana, sanya, sankara, vijnana. Because I'm saying that my body aches, right? My body has the pain, my stomach is painful, right? So that is a very higher understanding. I think if I were that person, because you are a lay person, I'm going to give you a light advice about it, not that kind of a very hard practice, because I know where should lay people work on. I think for you, what would have been told is that better to change your posture, not to look at the pain, right? Not to look at it. So that is how I think about it. So hard practices have to be understood in that way. No to Attakilamathānuyoga, no to Dhammacakkappavattana, but to Chandima Paripada. Any questions at the end? Any others? We have a couple people.
From what I understand, when this, let's say you sit down and you got a pain in your leg, what the monk or whoever the advising us will tell us, okay, stop everything for a while, just concentrate on the pain and mention pain, 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 till it goes away. Then you go back to meditation.
Yeah, I think, it is a way that you can avoid the pain. But Sadhris, there might be some medical complications to some people. So I think like maybe operation, maybe something like that. But as a concept, it is one way of looking at it, as we said, to talk about the Godika, monk Godika. But we should not disturb our posture for the meditation, because posture is not a big problem in meditation.
Yes, okay, let's say you sit down, then you get cramps over here or pain, you stretch up slowly, then if the pain keeps going, you just pay attention on the pain, pain, and you mention until if it go away. If it goes not go away, just concentrate on that until we finish your meditation.
I think, Sadhris, you are talking about a general person who has no health issue. Let's say even anybody sit down on the floor, we may have a certain pain at different, right?
Yeah.
You sit on the floor, because you are not sitting on the floor all the time, because you are sitting on a chair. So there is a certain general, what you call, discomfort. For that, yes, Sadhris, that is how we're going to look at it. But what about for a medically impaired person? So we have to look at it a little differently. Other than that, yes.
He have to adjust himself to the position which is good for him or her.
Yes, definitely. I think if you have a serious leg problem, you could have told whoever the person that I have this issue. So is it okay I sit down on the place? So other than that, there is no confusion. But anyway, when you sit on the floor, if you don't have any health issues, definitely we can practice Vedanānupassana. But be careful, because if you have a health problem, you are not concerned about it. If you are ignoring that, it might take you to different other issues. But it is very good to get used to the position on the floor.
Bhante, can I understand that it's important to understand the Dhamma or the theory first, like the 4 foundation of mindfulness? Is it right?
Well,
it will help, right? It will help, and then understand the 3 characteristics of the conditions.
3 characteristics are the universal characteristics, anicca, dukkha,
Yes,
anatta.
that's
right.
Now, in the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha says, when you practice any meditation, anapanasati or iriyapata or whatever meditation practice across the Satipatthana Sutta, you have to look at, while you look at yourself, I take a deep breath. Now I'm taking a deep breath. I'm taking a long breath. Oh, I walk, I eat. You should also look at it from the Bahiddha. Ajjatta means about myself. You should look at how other people practice it too. Why is it? The Buddha knew if you too much focus about you, then you will end up with lot of Sakkaya Ditthi. But do you hear this understanding from meditators? I'm meditating, I'm so good today, I'm ecstatic today. So it is a fallacy. That is why the Buddha said, when you want to practice any meditation, Satipatthana meditations, you have to do it Ajjatta, Bahiddha. Ajjatta means internally, Bahiddha means external. Internally means looking at you practice it, and looking at others. Example, I walk here and there, then I think I walk now to that area, I walk back here. Then that is ajjata. Bahidda, I look at other people. They are walking. They are also walking there, right? And they are also going there. So that means you are deconstructing attachment about meditation towards yourself. So it is a good practice. Satipatthana is a good practice, but Satipatthana has to be practiced with the Sila Samadhi Panya process, right? Okay, great. Any other questions? Yeah, Sneha.
Yeah, Bhante, this related to this meditation. Actually, I have heard that we shouldn't meditate except this anapana, this with kamatahan. What is the according to the Buddha's teaching about that?
Great. Kamatahan means kammattan. Kammattan means some guidance from a meditation master. I think you can read some books, you can do your own meditation, any Satipatthana meditation. But if you know that there is a good guru, a teacher, you can approach that person, because that person will know you better and then give the right Satipatthana meditation. What is the right Satipatthana meditation? Let's say someone cannot sit properly. Okay? Someone cannot sit properly and meditate. Then will Anapanasati be a good meditation for that person? No, Anapanasati must be practiced while sitting, even on a cushion or on a chair. Then maybe the teacher understands you and then say, don't worry, you can do Iriyapata meditation. Gacchantangva gacchāmīti pajāyī. When walking, I know I'm walking. When sitting, I know I'm sitting. When lying down, I know I'm lying down. That meditation. Or he might do another posture meditation. There are sampajanya meditation, full awareness meditation. Don't worry about any anapanas. There are other satipatthana meditation. So you can do meditation while eating. How is it possible? When you're eating, understand that you are eating. How many people know that they are eating while they are eating? Right? How many people know that they are eating while they are eating? They are not looking at it. They are thinking about something. Even when you are not talking to somebody, you are not talking to somebody, you are being silent. Even at that point, understand, I am silent now. Why I am silent? Then the meditation master will recommend to you. That is the advantage of contacting a meditation master, taking object, what you call kammattan. But I don't think it's very necessary, because if you read the proper text, you know it, you can do it. But just in case, you can contact. But I think in today's, there are different masters. They have very different, sometimes different, ideas too. They are more into their own ways rather than sometimes the text. So we have to be very careful, because then they will tell you something else, right?
No, but I think for the beginners it's okay, but when you go deeper, when you go to jhana and all that, you need some guidance, because you might be misled to believe what you see and what you assume or illusionize yourself.
That's a very good approach, Sadhris. I think now this is very important to understand. Why do we practice meditation? Is it to get jhanas, or is it to get up to the wisdom?
The wisdom, then
wisdom is the Buddhist thinking.
the wisdom is correct, but
yes,
obviously end up with the jhanas and all that will be coming soon.
Primarily,
when you come to that level, you need someone who can, because you can question them, why I'm seeing this, why I'm seeing colors, and then the master will be able to tell you how that's your imagination or something, and help you to go up another higher stage and higher.
Yeah, that's what I said. Guru, there's certain guidance, but I don't think that many people here, they want to be very serious about jhanas and all that. They are primarily starting their focus, what you call concentration practice. They want to just keep their minds calm, and when they think that they want to go serious about it, they can go. at that point, there may be a teacher recommended. But if you have so much wisdom to understand, so you can manage by yourself. But be careful, there are different teachers, very different teachers. So you think it is Buddhist, but at the end it might be Hindu, yoga, it might be something else. So always, try to do your background search and then to join. All right. Okay, so let's then go to the transference of merits for today. May all the good karmas which we have been accumulating in all these ways be transferred to all the departed relatives passed away in the name of all of you. Maybe your parents, your siblings. Now, Buddhism talks about a samsara, not one life. So anybody that you had, that you were related to in the, sansaric journey. There's no start, no end till we understand the wisdom, till we get to the wisdom. If the departed relatives that passed away in the name of you, which you know, which you don't know, were reborn in a place of discomfort, pain, may they be able to receive all these good karmas and then to be reborn in a better place where they can even learn some Dhamma and practice Dhamma. If they are already in a place of comfort, may they be able to improve their standard of life so as to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idang me ñāti nang hontu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hontu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hontu sukhita hontu ñātayo. May the Devas, Nagas, Mahitikas. Devas means deities, Nagas means snake beings, and Mahitikas means powerful other non-humans. Also be able to share all the good karmas which we have been creating today. May the Devas be well and happy and then protect and bless all of you for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety. We need all these to practice Dhamma, not to get attached to our longevity, not to get attached to our good health, but to survive till we safely, peacefully understand the Dhamma. May Deva, Naga, Mahidika protect everyone in your family, your parents, your siblings, your spouse, your children, everybody who could come today, who could not come today. May all your travels be safe. May you be always blessed with all the good things, because you've been practicing all these good things, kusala kammas. Finally, may Devas, Nagas, and Mahitikas also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasatthacha bummanta deva naga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tuloka sasanam. Akasatthacha bummanta deva naga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tudesanam. Akasatthacha bummanta Deva Naga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkang Tumang Paranti Chirang Rakkang Tutwang Sadati. May we be in the company of the Kalyana Mitras, noble friends, till we attain Nibbana, not with the partners who deviate us from the path to Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to do this recital too. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu tu yava nibbana patantiya. Finally, may all the good karmas which you have been creating so far be supportive and help for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silisse nang vaddha pachayanu chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samijjatu. Sadhu. All right, so never be hard on yourself in your practice. Don't fall into Dhammacakkappavattana or Attakilamathānuyoga. So from next week, we're going to be starting the sense of the sutta, Majjhima, okay, the middle part, from next week onwards.
Thank you, Bhante.
So
Thank you, Bhante.
have a very good night and see you next Friday.
Good night, Bhante. See you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
Be safe.
Bhante. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
everybody.
night.
Good night, Kim. Night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, Bhante.
I
Happy
got
to
the-
see your granddaughter too, huh?
Yeah, she
And a
she
baby.
says the Buddha is talking.
Oh,
She always
Great.
tell me that you are Buddha.
oh, great.
Good.
Very cute.
Okay, great.
Okay, good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everyone. Take care. Thank
Good
you,
night.
Lim. Thank you, Lim, for facilitating.
Yeah.
I hope Aliana is back next week. Yeah, take care. Good night.
Yeah.
everyone.
Take care. Good night.
Good night.
Night, Sita. Take care.
Yeah.